No, I can't. That's spoilers. Okay.
No.
Hi there, it's Amanda and welcome. For this video, we're gonna do my July wrap-up. And it'll be a complete wrap-up, so it'll be movies, books, TV shows, and things like that. I've seen a couple people do videos like this, which is what I want to do because I love watching movies and watching TV shows, so I feel like it makes sense. So I'm going to include those probably in my monthly wrap-ups. Also, I know this is a few days late. Right now, I think it's the 4th of August, but it's Booktubeathon, and I'm trying really hard to make a lot of time for reading, and I'm vlogging for Booktubeathon, so check that out if you're interested. It's the first Booktubeathon I've ever done, and the first time I've ever vlogged ever in my entire life, so that's cool. But anyway, let's get to my July complete wrap-up. So in July, I watched a few movies, one TV show, and I only completed 2 books just because it was a super busy month, but I'm going to talk about them approximately in the order that I completed them. So the first movie that I watched this month, I actually saw 3 times, mostly on accident. The first time that I saw it was with my job, so I didn't have a choice, but also I was excited to see it. The second time I went with my friends because it's a nostalgic movie for us, and the third time I took my siblings. And that movie is The Incredibles 2. So the thing about this is that The Incredibles 1 is a Disney movie that I love and have always loved and will always continue to love. And the first time that I saw The Incredibles 2, like I said, was with work. And initially I came out of the movie and I kind of loved it. Like I explicitly remember talking to my coworker and we were talking about how we thought it was like funny, we liked the pace, it was interesting. I really liked it, and it was very nostalgic for me because I was a huge fan of Incredibles 1. But I remember saying to her almost this exact line. I was like, there were a few things that I was kind of questioning, like, why was that in there? Like, what were you trying to say with that? But other than that, like, I loved it. And I remember saying that. And then the next time that I saw it with friends. And while I was watching it, I couldn't kind of unsee all of those things that I was questioning before. And it kind of made me realize that the movie is not great. So by the second time that I had seen it, I thought a little bit more about it and realized that these like little points that I was questioning were kind of a big deal, especially as I watched it the second time. I realized that like I didn't like it. You know, most of it was funny and most of it was fine and very interesting, but there was a lot of it that really bothered me. And then by the third time that I saw it with my siblings, we went to the drive-in. It was like a really fun experience, but I realized that I can't give it a rating because there are very specific things about it that really bothered me. Just commentary that I thought was one, unnecessary and like weirdly political, but also 2, was just done in a way that I'm fairly sure was not okay. Like incredibly offensive. Like, there was just parts of it that I was so confused about, and I couldn't understand why it was even put in the movie. Like it didn't add anything to the movie, and it just kind of infuriated me a little bit. So there was just things in the movie that I found really questionable in ways that I couldn't find justifiable. Like I really did everything to find a solid explanation or like find another way to spin everything that I found, because I want this to be a movie that I love very much because The Incredibles was so important to me and I loved it so much as a kid and even now, but I just couldn't bring myself to get around those like things that were very like questionably offensive. It was weird and I didn't like it. The first time I saw it, I really didn't see it all that much. I just kind of questioned it for like a second. But then after the second and third time, like there's no way for me to ignore it. And I wasn't going to because it was just, I didn't like it. And I don't enjoy it. Breaks my heart. The next movie that I watched on the same night that we went to the drive-in because it was a double feature, and I watched Ant-Man and the Wasp. I would give this probably like an 87, so like a B+-ish. I really liked it. It was funny. It was decently paced and added a lot to the MCU. Like I was excited to see other little things, and of course there's like that after credit scene, which is like, but I really did like it. I enjoyed it. The Ant-Man movies aren't my favorite movies in the series. It was a little bit cheesy and a little bit goofy, but I still like it, of course, and like superhero movies can be very goofy and cheesy. I love Paul Rudd, and I loved Evangeline Lilly's character. I thought she was really strong and really tough and just like really intelligent and so like kind of grounded in herself. I just really loved her. And I really liked that the movie wasn't Ant-Man with a little bit of the Wasp. Like, it was an Ant-Man and the Wasp movie. Like, it felt like the two were kind of on equal footing, and it was about them both. And I really, really loved it. I thought it was really good. Again, I'd give it like a solid B+. So the next thing that I finished in July was Black Hearts by Nicole Casherman. I've talked about this a little bit. This is a Blackbeard retelling-esque type of story, and it follows our main character, Anne, really mostly, who is a cook in the house, and then also Edward, also known as Teach, will later become known as Blackbeard. And it's kind of their separate stories and desires, separate from each other, but also how they intertwine in what they're kind of striving for, and also how their relationship develops. And it's really cool. I really liked it. I gave it, I think, 4 out of 5 stars. It was Nicole Casherman's debut novel, I believe, and I thought it was really, really well done, and I'm definitely going to read the sequel, Black Souls. I've talked about this before, but this wasn't like an epic journey through the ocean. It was more about these characters developing in this house and how their relationship develops and how they're both hesitant. So I really love that. Love the dynamics. Cannot wait for Black Souls. I think there's going to be much more epic travel piratey stuff in that one, so I'm really pumped. The next thing that I finished was Breaking Bad. This is a TV show. It's all on Netflix if you don't know. I highly suggest it. So Breaking Bad is about a chemistry teacher in a high school who receives a terminal diagnosis. So he makes a decision to start cooking crystal meth, and he uses one of his former students to help him. And it's all about kind of his journey of cooking and selling and dealing with the meth industry. It's very interesting. It's about his family dynamics and how those change and are affected by his work. And I started watching Breaking Bad because I knew that it was very popular and really hyped. And I have to say that it kind of holds up. Like, I give Breaking Bad, it would get like a 93 for me, like an A. It would get an A for me. But anyway, highly suggest Breaking Bad. It is really good. It's all on Netflix, and there's a prequel called Better Call Saul, which I'm definitely gonna watch. Next thing that I finished in the month of July was The Shining by Stephen King. Finally. I had been trying to finish The Shining for a while. It just kind of started to get really creepy for me, so I slowed down a bit. I give this like an 85. I really liked it. There was a lot to it. Like, it's a huge book. Like, I know this is a mass market paperback, but it's anyway very long. Just Stephen King's writing. This was my first Stephen King book ever. And his writing is very interesting because it's just, there's a lot of it, you know, like each character like is a solid character. Like, there's a lot to them, and I really, really enjoyed that. The characters themselves were very interesting. I loved Danny. I just loved Danny so much, and I just wanted everything to work out for Danny and all of his shining, and he was so precious and wonderful. It was really good. It was also unexpected. I didn't know much about it. I'd seen the movie like once, but a long time ago. And I know that the movie and the book are considered to be very different, in that Stephen King explicitly does not like the movie, and that like director of the movie like made it a point to make it clear that like that this like wasn't Stephen King's movie. Don't even get me started on that baloney. I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I will definitely be picking up more Stephen King books. I'm not sure which one next. Let me know down below if you read Stephen King, what is your favorite, or the one that you recommend the most, even if it's not technically your favorite, but just the one that you would recommend to me. The next thing that I watched for the month of July was Mamma Mia. I had never seen Mamma Mia before this, but I'm a huge fan of Amanda Seyfried, I think that's her name. And of course, Meryl Streep, duh. And I really liked it. The movie was kind of funky. Like, I was watching it and I'm like, what are these 3 men doing on this boat? Like, they don't know each other and they don't know this girl, but she's like on there with them. It was like weird, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was funny. It was like a little bit goofy. Some things were weird, like some of the writing was a little bit funky, and some like the shooting was weird, but other than that, like, I really liked it. I think it was just like a loose, kind of fun, enjoyable movie. I would probably give it like a B. I liked it. It wasn't phenomenal, but it was good. The next thing that I watched was Eliza Schlesinger's stand-up Elder Millennial. You guys, so funny. My siblings and I really like to watch stand-up comedians, so just put it on randomly yesterday while I was playing Fortnite, and I like got sucked in, and it was so good, you guys. Definitely give it an A. It was so funny and so creative, and I just like, we've watched a couple of her things before, and I always come out like really loving them. Like, I'm always like, yeah, this was good. Like, sometimes I watch stand-up comedians and I'm like, no, like, not only were you not funny, but like, you don't need that. Like, what is all that? Like, but she was good. She was so funny. I loved her commentary. I loved some of the things that she was saying. It was just like, her jokes were great. It was really fun. She was really endearing, and I will definitely continue to watch the stand-up that she does and follow her because she's great. Anyway, that's all of the things that I have kind of consumed in July of 2018. My August wrap-up will probably be bigger. I've already finished 1 book in July because it's Booktubeathon, and I'm in the middle of 2 books. So hopefully I'll be done soon, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye!